Dear students of BA Part 1, having subsidiary in English. First of all, wish you a very warm and sunny morning. Dear students, as you know very well that today is a very pious day, a very holy day. We all are celebrating the great festival, a very pious festival, a very holy festival, a festival that is known to be the festivals of festival, that is the all-time great festival, the festival in which we worship the one and only God, the Sun, that is the Chhath festival. And today is the second day of this grand festival, as the festival has started just yesterday with Naha Khai, and today is Kharna. You know, this festival is celebrated with great or utmost sincerity, with utmost devotion, with utmost care all over India. And what to talk of all over India, this festival is now being celebrated throughout the world, wherever we Indians, particularly the Hindus, reside. Or if I am not mistaken, this festival has nothing to do with a particular caste or a particular community or a particular religion, as in so many cases even people belonging to other religions like Muslims, like Sikhs, like Jainis, and people belonging to any religion are seen celebrating this particular festival, because, as you know, this is the festival of sunlight. This is the festival in which we offer our tributes to the sun god, who provides life to this earth. Dear friends, you know, life upon the earth in the absence of light, or particularly in the absence of sunlight, is impossible, is next to impossible. We can't even think of having life upon the earth in the absence of the sunlight. And you know, the sun god never discriminates. It never discriminates between person to person in the name of caste, creed, nation, religion, community. It provides its benediction. It provides its light. It provides its warmth. It provides its love and care to all. Therefore, during these 4 days, the humanity just pays its tribute. Just the humanity thanks the sun god for providing light. So it's today is a very, very important day. A very, very pious day, a sublime day, a splendid day, a glorious day, a great and grand day. And today, I have just decided, or an idea came to my mind to talk to you people through my video with the discussion of a very, very enlightening essay that has been written by Swami Vivekananda, a seventh saint of 19th century India, and this particular essay is India, Our Motherland. And this essay is provided in your book, that is The Exploration of Ideas, an anthology of prose. An exploration of ideas and anthology of prose. So dear friends, or dear students, if you have this particular book with you, please open the book and turn to this particular essay. It is the very first essay. This means the anthology begins with this very essay, that is India, Our Motherland, written by Swami Vivekananda. Dear students, you know this very well, that Swami Vivekananda is one of the makers of modern India. He was born in 1863 and he left this world for his heavenly abode in 1902. So he has just lived upon this planet, lived upon this earth for a very short span. This short span is of 39 years. But in these 39 years, he has revolutionized, he has churned not only India but the whole world. He, with his ideas, galvanized or tried to galvanize the whole mind, the whole thinking process, not only of India but of the whole world. And you know, great persons never die. They always live. They are not mortals, they are immortals. They immortalize themselves through their works. And this is the case with all-time great Swami Vivekananda. He has done such a human service by exhorting the country, exhorting the countrymen to come out of their inertia and to take the country to a sublime height, to a glorious height. You know, dear students, lives of great men, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime and leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. H.G. Longfellow says, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime and leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. And Mr. Swami Vivekananda is a man of such greatness. He has left his footprints on the sands of time for all of us, for the whole humanity to follow. You know, his first name was Narendranath Dutt, but he became Vivekanand after he joined the ashram of Ramakrishna Paramhans as his disciple. In his short span of life, he toured extensively in India and abroad and delivered a scores of lectures in order to propagate the ideals of his teacher. He was perhaps the first Indian to raise his country and its culture in the eyes of the West. His lectures and writings possess a clarity of force which comes not only from the mastery of the language but also from his total commitment to the cause he was working for. So he was a committed crusader. He was a committed thinker. He was a committed idealist. He devoted all his life in changing the mind, in changing the wrong, in purging the polluted mind of the humanity, to do away, to cure the humanity of its disease was the whole and sole purpose of, or objective of his life. This essay of his, that is India, our motherland, is one of his brilliant essays. In this essay, he highlights, or rather he focuses upon the past, the glorious past of India, and the present dilapidated condition of its. Of course, there is a great difference, a difference of earth and sky between these two Indias. It was the time when India was under the British rule. India has lost its glory, its past glory. India, which at a time played the role of Jagat Guru, is playing the role of a servant, is under the shackle of slavery, is sulking and sobbing under the shackle of slavery. Its people are worried. Their faces are full of anxieties. They look sad and sorrow. They are exploited. They are hungry. They are mistreated. They are ill-treated. They are uneducated. And all these things pains the essayist, pains the writer. And he, through this essay, tries to exhort, tries to excite, tries to egg on the youth to stand up, to rise, to raise their head, to dream, to think of their glorious past, and come out of the cocoon of slavery, come out of the hold and clutches of slavery, and work for their upliftment. At the same time, work for the upliftment of their country, their countrymen. They must work once again to be the leader of the world. So, Vivekananda, in this insightful essay, in this very reflective, revolutionary and suggestive essay, dwells on the past glory and the present miserable state of India, as I have told you. The essayist presents a beautiful comparison, a true comparison, a genuine comparison between the glorious past and the present dilapidated, miserable, sad, sorry, unpleasant state of our country, that is India, our motherland, that is India. Reminding his readers that India's greatness lies in her spiritual ideas. He makes an impassioned plea, request to the Indians, and in particular of the younger generation, to work for their motherland, so that India might once again occupy her pride of place among the nations of the world, as it had occupied. In the past, it had occupied the pride place among the nations of the world. But unfortunately, we lost that position. And now, at present, we are slave. We are in darkness. We are roaming in wilderness. We are wandering in wilderness. We have gone aimless. We have lost our willpower. We have taken this slavery as our destiny. We have lost our national pride. We Indians are not born to be ruled. However, at the same time, we are not born to rule over the others. We are just born, we Indians are just born to lead, to guide the whole world. We must work as the pathfinders. We must enlighten the whole humanity. We must work for the good, for the welfare, for the upliftment of the whole humanity. We must believe in this particular saying, Ayang nijah paro veti gananam laguchet sam udar chita nam tu vasudhaiv kutumbakam. Ayang nijah paro veti gananam laguchet sam udar chita nam tu vasudhaiv kutumbakam. यह तेरा है वह मेरा है, यह तेरा मेरा की बात छोटे लोग करते हैं. अयंग निजह परो वेती गणनांग लघु चेत साम उदार चिता नाम. जो बड़े दिल वाले होते हैं, जो उदार दिल वाले लोग होते हैं, उनके लिए उदार चिता नाम तू वसुधैव कुटुंबकम. उनके लिए पूरा विश्व ही परिवार होता है. We must keep this idea in our mind, in our heart, and keeping this enlightening idea in our soul, in our heart, in our mind, we must work. We must work with utmost sincerity, with great sincerity and devotion and dedication for the betterment, for the upliftment, for the good, not only of our country, but of the whole world, of the whole humanity. So, this essay has been chiseled, has been written, just keeping all these things in the mind of the essayist. See, what a great start, what a brilliant start the essayist gives to this essay when he says, "Shall India die?" And he puts question mark against this sentence. Shall India die? क्या भारत मर जाएगा? क्या भारत खत्म हो जाएगा? क्या भारत नहीं दुनिया में नहीं रहेगा? क्या भारत दुनिया के नक्शे से खत्म हो जाएगा? And he wants the answer of this very and vital question from all of us, from the readers of this essay. Shall India die? Then from the world all spirituality will be extinct, all moral perfection will be extinct, all sweet-souled sympathy for religion will be extinct, all ideality will be extinct, and in its place will reign the duality of lust and luxury as the male and female deities, with money as its priest, fraud, force, and competition its ceremonies, and the human soul its sacrifice. In the very beginning, the essayist poses a very vital, a very, very important and vital question, asking all of us if shall India die? And by asking or raising this very question, after that, he himself clarifies it. He himself makes his question very clear. And he says, it will be a doomsday, a very detrimental day, a day of Qiyamah, you can say, if India dies. Because the dying of India will be just like the dying of the sun god. Will be the dying of India will be just like the extinction of the sun from this whole cosmos. What will happen? Can you imagine? What will happen if there is no sun god, if there is no sun in this cosmos? There can't be any life. In its absence, the whole earth will die. Without warmth, without light, without life, and the whole earth will become a barren land, a wasteland. It will turn into a great or vast graveyard. So if India dies, nothing will survive in the world. Because with the death of India, spirituality will be extinct. Perfection will be extinct. Sweet souled sympathy will extinct. It means India hai to spirituality hai. If there is India, there is spirituality. If there is India, there is sympathy. If there is India, there is empathy. If there is India, there is selflessness. If there is India, there is light and love. You know, dear students, that this human body is the mingling of two things rather, the body and the soul. We are living, we are alive because our body and soul are together. Man is also an animal, but there is a difference between the brute, between the beast and man. Man lives on two planes. The one is physical and the other is spiritual. It is the spirituality that keeps our greed, keeps our lust under control. Dear friends, this planet upon which we reside, upon which we live, belongs to all the creatures, belongs to all of us. And this is not our permanent abode. We are just travelers. We are just the renters who have been sent upon this world for a particular period, for a particular time, for a fixed time. Our Father, that is the Almighty God, has sent us with the limited breathings. After consuming, after inhaling and exhaling that very quota of breathing which has been allotted to all of us, we all have to depart one by one, sooner or later, today or tomorrow. We have to leave this world, and we have come upon this earth empty-handed, and we will leave this world empty-handed. We are not going to carry on power and wealth. We are not going to carry on wealth with us. But what we are going to carry on with us is our deeds, is our good deeds, is our love for the humanity, is our care for our fellow brothers. क्या लेके आया था मैं, क्या लेके जाऊंगा? क्या लेके आया था मैं, क्या लेके जाऊंगा? बस जिनके काम आया हूं मैं, दुआएं उनकी लेके जाऊंगा. क्या लेके आया था मैं, क्या लेके जाऊंगा? बस जिनके काम आया हूं मैं, दुआएं उनकी लेके जाऊंगा. From where we get such ideas? We get such ideas regarding life from the spirituality. And the very source of spirituality is India. So, it is utmost necessary for the health of, for the very existence of the whole humanity, that India should remain upon the earth in its good health. India must be healthy. India must be progressive. India must be developing. India must be warm. India must be wealthy. Otherwise, there will be no peace, no amity, no love, no brotherhood upon this whole world. Therefore, the essayist in a very, very clear cut language, in a very straightforward language, points out that the very death of India would be the spiritual extinction, would be the extinction of spirituality, the extinction of morality or moral perfection, the extinction of the sweet sympathy, the extinction of kind empathy, the extinction of friendliness, the extinction of love for fraternity, the extinction for the brotherhood, the extinction of the whole life, the extinction of the great, grand, holy, happy, handsome, healthy life upon this world. So, we all, it is our moral duty, it is the moral duty of not only of India, but of the whole world, to come and support India, work for India, work for Bharat. Bharat, Bha, that means light, Rat means से भरा हुआ, filled with. Bharat, India is everywhere. India is not surrounded in its boundary. Dear students, India is in the whole cosmos. India is throughout the world. Wherever there is love, wherever there is light, wherever there is kindness, wherever there is sympathy, empathy, there is India. Wherever there is mercy, wherever there is kindness, wherever there is sweet sympathy, wherever there is selfishness, there is India. India is living there. India is breathing there. India is smiling there. India is chopping there. India is singing there. India is such a great country. So, the people living in India must think in this way, and they must work together for the betterment, for the upliftment, for the greatness, for the glory of their country. Dear students, that's all for today. In this video of mine, I have tried to lit up your curiosity regarding the essay, and all of you are requested to go through the essay on your own. In our next video, I will discuss however, this essay is a bit long, a bit lengthy, so I will try to discuss some of the important lines of this essay. Till then, enjoy good health, enjoy sound health, at the same time enjoy this Chhath Puja, help this Chhat Vratis, all the devotees of Chhat, help them. And since the pandemic, that is Corona, has not gone out, it is still breathing among us. So take care of this pandemic also. Follow the instructions provided to all of us. Wear the mask, use the sanitizers, keep the 2-yard distance. At the same time, on Saturday, that is the 21st of November, after offering morning tribute to the sun god, enjoy the prasad like apples, orange, sugarcane, thakwa, etc. and spend your days and night happily. Thank you. God bless you all.